Alan Prescott. Lightning, lightning, Alan Prescott.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and anyone who has a child who has ever begged for a pet. When my son, Baker, was 5 years old, he came to me and said, "Dad, can I have a pet bird?" I replied, "Well, Baker, it's a big responsibility caring for a bird. You have to feed it every day. You have to clean the cage. Are you up to the task?" "Yes, Dad, I can do it. I'll feed it. I'll clean the cage. Please, I want a bird. I want a bird now. I want a bird. I want a bird." "Okay, okay. Wow." We bought a cockatiel. Baker, it was about 6 inches high, bright yellow feathers, a big orange spot on each side of his face, a yellowy feathery crescent. Baker was so happy, he named his bird Lightning. Guess who fed this bird? I did. Guess who cleaned the bird's cage? Yep, it was me. Guess who lost interest in this bird after 1 week? Baker did. Well, I thought since I'm the proud caretaker of the cockatiel, I would teach it to say a phrase. And since it was such a pretty bird, I taught her to say pretty bird. Now here's how I did it. I sat down by the bird cage, and for about an hour I repeated, "Pretty bird, pretty bird." Lightning replied, "Chirp, chirp, chirp, chirp." "Pretty bird, chirp, chirp." I did that the next day for an hour. Then every day the next week. And then every day the next week. And every day the next week. And finally, after all that work, she says her very first phrase. "Pretty turd, pretty turd." No, it's pretty bird, pretty bird. Pretty turd, pretty turd. No, it's a B, not a T. Well, with a little more practice, we finally got her to pronounce the word bird correctly. A few days later, Baker comes up to me and says, "Dad, I have a question about Lightning." And I'm thinking, yes, this child finally wants to know how to care and feed this bird. And Baker says, "Dad, what's a turd?" "And why is it pretty?" Lightning. Occasionally, I have to trim Lightning's nails. One time, they got so long that when she held onto her perch, she couldn't release her foot. Her nails were stuck in the perch. This was an emergency. So here's how I performed this task. I put a towel over my hand, I reached into the cage, I grabbed her and trimmed her nails. Now the towel served two purposes. First, it protected my arm from severe lacerations from her razor-sharp beak. Now I've learned my lesson. One time I stuck my naked hand in that cage and she went straight towards the carpal tunnel with the precision of a surgeon. And the second reason for the towel is it fools her into thinking it's the mean towel grabbing her and not her wonderful caretaker. She's not that bright. She only knows 2 words. I'm reaching into the cage. She becomes alarmed. "Chirp, chirp, chirp, pretty bird, pretty bird." I get closer and closer, and I grab her. She's a strong little bird. I trim her nails, I put her back in the cage, and I gently set her back on her perch. I let go of her. She falls upside down. What? I push her back up. I let go of her again. Oh no! I've cut her nails too short. I no longer have a cockatiel, I have a bat. No, feathery bat. Well, her nails finally grew back over time. But she did perfect the art of flying around in the dark using echolocation to capture insects. We also have a cat. His name is Kirby. Kirby is fascinated by this bird. He thinks of lightning as this yellow feathery toy that he wants to stick his claws into and rip apart. He stalks lightning. He circles the cage. Whenever she moves, he jumps on the cage. But she's protected by those little bars. Sometimes I let lightning out of her cage. And when I do, she cautiously sticks her head out the front. She looks to the left, looks to the right. No cat. She climbs up to the top of the cage and stretches her wings. Now, of course, I will have already taken Kirby and put him in my bedroom and closed the door. One time I did this and I was walking around the house for a few minutes doing some chores. When I walked by my bedroom, I noticed that the door was open. I ran to the cage. Lightning wasn't there. I looked behind me, and there she was on the floor on the other side of the room, with Kirby inches away, ready to attack. All I could think of was that Forrest Gump movie when they said, "Run, Forrest, run." But instead, I said, "Fly, lightning, fly!" It was a beautiful sight. Lightning spread out her wings and took to the air. 1, 2, 3 feet. Then Kirby, he took to the air. 1, 2, 3 feet. I had to stop him, so I took to the air. Time slowed down. No, Kirby! As I was falling to the ground, I saw lightning fly safely to the top of a bookshelf. I fell to the ground like a ton of bricks. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have children or you're thinking about having children one day, will they come to you begging for a pet? Just say no. Can we say that together? No. Baker comes up to me again and he has a question. Now I know what he wants. He's seen what I've gone through. He's seen all the turmoil and anguish. He wants to know how to care for this bird. I know it. Baker says, "Dad, can I have a puppy?"